All right, guys. So happy New Year's. Let's get it rolling. For anyone that can't attend right now, this is going to be saved. This is going to be sent out on Facebook. I mean, not Facebook, YouTube. But yeah, so New Year, New You. If you guys have not been like listening to any like podcasts out there, there's a lot of good stuff. But it's a lot of the same messages. What do we need to do? What do we need to do different to change the year, change your cycle, break the cycle? And the first thing I would recommend is getting into FFL convention. If you have not been, it's a mind changing convention, a mind changing, altering into your business to get you better. Right now, from LA, flights are under $200. So start booking it now. It's from February 1st to the 4th. Do you want to come in? So there's nothing going on the 1st besides a carrier meeting. So February 1st, 6 to 8 p.m. is the carrier meeting. So it's really going to be the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th, which is the ongoing the classes and the training. So you want to fly in on the 1st, get out of there by the 5th. Okay. So I want to bring that up because this is really what's going to set you up to the new year and planning and executing from your personal production into building. And then identifying, like realizing and understanding the opportunity we have here with FFL. So first off, figure out like, what are we working for? Why are we here in the first place? Okay. We are here to make a lot of good money, a lot of freedom, and a lot of time to spend money, right? We can't just have freedom and no money. We can't just have a lot of money and no freedom and time to spend it. This is the best of both worlds. But how do we get there? Okay. How can we get enough discipline and consistency to be able to manage that? And, William, Jocko podcast, the Navy SEAL, he's going to be there. His main line has always been discipline equals freedom. If we tighten up our disciplines and we work really well, we'll have more freedom because we can achieve our goals faster. We can make more sales faster, which will give us and buy us our freedom back. So what is that income goal? What can we get and how can we build? So first off, I just want to reiterate the opportunity first. Typically with us, when we sell, you're making at least $1,000 per sale. Okay. Average, right? You will have sales that are smaller. You will have sales that are bigger. You'll have like Albert that just helped like 5 families worth in one sale, husband and wife, because they had high income. So it's usually higher. And now if you're seeing some, final expense clients, lower income, it'll be in $30 to $40 a month. But on average, across the board, from all the total sales that you do, they make about 1,000. So as an individual, as a personal production, what is stopping you from hitting your personal goals? If you want to make 20K, what is it going to take to write 20K? It's not going to be so much of a skill. It's more of a plan, right? It's more of an attack with your clients, your leads, your plan of communicating with them with presentations, phone appointments, scheduling, and then the sales will happen by itself. But the convention will teach you a lot of the secrets of how top producers are doing it. Okay, top producers doing telesales, top producers being in the field, whatever you're missing, the answers will be in the convention. But what I want to get at though is, what is an override? How many of us are receiving overrides in this business? So an override is the difference between your comp and your downline. Okay, what does a 10% override look like? Okay, if you get an agent, meaning aside from you, if you get someone to get to convention, they run the numbers. On average, that agent, brand new or not, will start developing the skills to start becoming a 10K plus producers. Okay. If you can get an agent to be self-sufficient writing 10K, what does that mean for you as an override? If you have a 10% override on him, you're going to start making $1,000 a month passive from that agent. Okay. 10% override off of one sale is $100. Okay. So if they get 10,000 AP, you're making $1,000 in overrides. So how do you build this right? Well, what you want to do is you want to duplicate yourself. You want to be able to learn how to write the business, create a perfect lead plan that is scalable. Okay. Whatever lead plan you're in. So this is the situation where people are bringing in people, but they're telling them, okay, well, I do referrals. Well, your referral market, your warm market will be completely different between someone else's warm market. You might know a lot of people. They may not. So how is that duplicatable? How is that a systematic approach into this business? Well, what's duplicatable? If you find a lead system that you're buying, you're selling, and you're repeating the cycle, there's no variable. The variable is this is the leads that we're buying. These are the numbers that we're selling. These are the yield that we're getting from the return of investment. Copy paste, copy paste. So when you can duplicate yourself and you can build writing agents, well, what would happen if you had 10 writing agents writing 10K? What would happen if you have 20 writing agents writing 10K? Or as your commission levels goes up because your production and your team volume goes up, your comp goes up. So you can maintain the same position, write a lot of business, you get a bump on your commission, that 10% override on the same amount of people becomes a 20% override. And that gets higher. So sometimes, you know, we run into the field, we continue to work, and we get lost in the sauce. We get lost into just doing our own thing, and then you forget that, oh, this opportunity can be bigger. This opportunity, if I do it right, if I write the right amount of business, if I write and get agents going into the business, that I can actually profit. I can make good money into this. So start looking into your vision. You know, throw a big number that's a hard and achievable goal. It might be far out there initially. Like my main goal, I want to gross 50K a month. Okay. And this is a personal meeting. Even though it's saved, it's not going to be like FTC bias, so I can talk about numbers as much. But if I say I want to make $50,000 a month, that's $600,000 a year. First off, that's a far crazy number, but is it crazy in FFL when other people are millionaires and other people are writing business and making that money? No, there's just a proper business plan to it. There's your personal production and your team volume and team camaraderie and building. So that will happen with the game plan of me building managers and building leaders. If I can create $350,000 producing agencies, 3 logos on separate legs, the override from that plus their income and their teams, it'll be there easily. But in order for me to do that, I need to build, I need to duplicate, I need to scale. And so that's the ongoing purpose. So just look into it from your business standpoint, from where you see yourself, how can you get there, and then game plan. Okay, so if you don't have a full game plan, let's talk. Let's have a one-on-one session. Ideally, what we want to do is we want to increase your ability and your skill to sell. If you can learn how to sell, you're going to be dependent on yourself. You're going to be independent from others' passive income because it takes 10 times. Okay. So this is not where you just want to recruit the world, because your one sale equals 10 sales of a downline. Okay. So you can actually make more money producing on your own first, but that's supposed to be a passive income to where your 10 times 8 sales duplicates one. Well, you can only do as much as your one sale, but it's infinite, and the potential is unlimited with how many people you can bring into the business. So 10 times times 10 times times 10 times, that's going to overset you finally not having to write in the field. Okay. But you can only do that because you have to have the right levels and the right ability to attract and to train, to convert agents from writing business. So what I want to do next is I want to kind of just get Jason as a special guest to talk a little bit about his business, what's happening, what's his New Year's going. So before I ask any questions, just talk to me about your game plan, your vision, what's happening, your input, and then we'll follow up with some questions on what we can copy and what we can duplicate from you.
Yeah, so what I've been nothing too new from the past couple months, but really setting attainable goals for myself. That's been big. I keep throwing out these huge numbers, but then I don't give myself the tracks to follow to reach those goals, and then I get pissed off when I don't make them, right? And then it's like, ah, crap. But a huge thing that's been beneficial to me is honestly the live dials. That's been the biggest thing. Listening to Terrence today, Albert, John, JP, on like listening to these people hearing the same rebuttals, the same BS that we all hear. That's huge, you know, and it's not just listening to people get sales, it's listening to the crap, you know, that's encouraging to me. But honestly, the big setback that I've had in the past is just not having enough leads. So as opposed to just fixating on how much AP I can get in a month, right now my sole focus is how can I get more leads, right? Because in the past I would try to just milk the daylights out of what leads I do have, but now, I mean, going into January, I really stocked up on leads while it was kind of slowing over the holidays. And my goal is to write 5K AP every 10 days. And by day 4, I've already written over 6. And that's just from buying leads, and just trying to really get new leads and new people to talk to. So that's it. But honestly, just doing dials, just keep on grinding. Yesterday, I didn't have a lot of appointments. I didn't have any in the morning. So instead of just spending time with my family and doing watching ESPN and just wasting my time, hopped on the live dials, booked 2 appointments off of new leads, and that's where my sales came from. So it's one of those things where if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have written whatever I did last night, like 2,500, something like that. And honestly, like I keep telling my wife, like this job is unbelievable because there's no other job, kind of like what you were saying. Like it sounds crazy, but this is the only job you can like wake up and make $2,500. You know what I mean? It's like, what the heck are you, and you feel like you didn't even work. You know what I mean? Like yesterday, I feel like I didn't even work, but I did, and it's just one of those things. You just gotta stay diligent and keep on keeping on. And that's everything. But again, I think the live dials, that's been monumental to me the past few months now. That's been helping me tremendously.
Talk about I think what really changed for you too is like a different mindset into the business when you first went to Miami last year, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it was still leads. It was still leads. I remember sitting down with you and a couple other guys just debating on like leads, and I was too scared to pull the trigger to buy them, right? And just excuse after excuse, like, oh, they've been sitting there for a while, I don't want to buy them, or just, and just like, oh, I don't want to buy the 1 month lead, 3 month lead, a waste of time, right? But dude, no, like a lead is a lead. And I know when people have said that before, to be honest, I kind of rolled my eyes like, oh, you're buying like $80 high intent leads and I'm buying $4 one, you know what I mean? But it's true. It's true. And just, yeah, there's just a mindset shift. And as opposed to focusing on how much money you can make, focus on what you need to do to get there, and because control, you can control, because you still can't control who picks up. You can't control what they say to you. You can't control if they're healthy, bank account, anything like that. But you can control how many leads you buy, how many you put in your bucket, and then how many dials you make. That's it. And then obviously run your appointments. But yeah, yeah. Again, just the biggest thing is just being consistent and buying those dang leads because they're the best, and again, like I was talking to somebody on GroupMe, but call tools, that's been big for me. Moving away from phone burner, and like tomorrow I got a couple appointments from leads that I bought in September that were 1 month and 3 month old leads in September. You know what I mean? So that makes it what a 4 and a 6 month old lead technically.
Right.
So it's all about timing too, So as opposed to which before last convention, I would call them 3 times, maybe 9 times in a day, and then be done with it, move on. But now it's just like just keep calling them. It's all about timing. You don't know when you're going to reach them.
I think
Like
I think that's
yesterday, I
the thing
called
about
somebody
call
on there.
tools too, right? Because call
Yeah,
tools, it's taking
makes it
away
so easy.
your like
Yeah,
mental struggle of like, I don't know about calling this again. You just put them in. It's like, all right,
yeah. You don't even know who you're calling
it's
until they pick
numbers.
up. You know what I mean? And honestly, with call tools, without hearing the dialing sound, that helps me. That helps me mentally. Like it takes I don't know, just makes the day easier. So it's like I can be on my phone looking at ESPN, and then all of a sudden Connie's on the phone. You know what I mean? And I don't know, but
Yeah, there's it's like you wanting to take a step in the first step to the gym, right?
yeah,
It's the hardest part is getting there. You're already
hmm
there with when you turn on your call tools.
right,
And
yeah,
it
and
just happens when it happens. So you just
it's the
react
best,
instead of having to force yourself to start moving.
right, right, yeah. So my big thing for this year is being more consistent, obviously, and then attainable goals. So not just going like, okay, my biggest month in 22 was like 13 or 14 grand, maybe, but that was off of over half of that was out of one house. I don't remember if that was a good day. I don't remember if you remember that from last year,
Yeah.
but just being more consistent, like more consistent, and okay, let's do 15. Once we get 15 under my belt consistently, all right, let's up to 20, and then keep on keeping on. And like honestly, what I'm proud about so far this month, it's not from big sales. It's from a lot more sales, So it's it's from working, and it's from buying leads and calling them and doing what you got to do.
So for a new agent listening in, what
Yeah,
is that structure that you're doing right now? So what tell me when you're buying leads, how much are you
yeah,
spending on leads, what type of leads are you buying, and then
yeah,
how often are you converting them?
yeah. So I used to buy just a few $100 a week worth of leads, and that's just death by 1,000 cuts. So with my new strategy is nothing under 800 to a grand or more a week of leads, and I'm trying to figure out different ways so it's not just coming all from the same spot.
Are you
But
buying
all
one time? Are you buying one time for the week or like Mondays and Thursday?
no, if they're there, I'm getting them. When they're there, I'm gonna grab them so nobody else does. Which I don't have a lot of competition where I'm at, but yeah, grab them while you can, and then yeah, and then just make sure you have plenty of leads to call on Monday and Thursday or whenever you dial. If you don't have the appointments, I still dial because you never know what's gonna happen, and yeah, and then a big thing that I used to do is I would give up on a lead, like I just said not too long ago. But just keep calling, just keep calling. You never know. You never know when they're going to pick up. You never know what's going to be the right time, and just don't give up on them. Like get a response, yes or no. And if they say no, how you doing? Keep it moving, you know. And just I'm not that good on the phone. Just get that low hanging fruit and rock and roll.
So on an average, what's so going on Mondays? Okay, I
Yeah,
see you on live dial. So
yeah,
and you know, you're not there all the time. You take a break, you pick up
no,
the kids and whatnot,
yeah.
right? What would you say your hours that you're putting in on a dial day, and
Hmm.
how many negative no's do you get from per yes
Yeah,
appointments do you get?
yeah, way more no's than yeses. And then I'm probably dialing probably a total of 5 to 6 hours. So not even as much as I should. But
Okay.
yeah, probably about 5 to 6 hours. And then man, so I'm typically dialing 400 to 500 leads each dial day.
Okay.
And then maybe contact maybe 50 of them, maybe. And then yeah, way more no's than yeses. So I would say if I contacted 50, I would probably get probably 35 no's and then a couple iffies and then yeah
15 appointments
some
ish.
yeah
What's been
yeah
around your weekly average numbers of appointments booked?
lately I've been running about 20 to 24
Okay.
appointments. Yeah,
Out
yeah,
of out
trying to
of
get that number up. Yeah, and not
okay.
all those, some of those appointments are like appointments, but and
Quick
you know
sets.
that going, yeah, you know that going into it.
Yeah.
So I would say some solid appointments. I would probably about 15 solid appointments
And out of those solid
going into it.
appointments, how many presentations are you getting in, and how many? What's your closing ratio now?
Yeah, so closing ratio is high. If I'm going to sit with you, I would still say I'm probably about 75% closing ratio.
That's good.
And yeah, but it's you got to sit with them first. And then out of the appointments, out of 15 solid booked, I probably sit with probably 8 of them, about half of it. Yeah.
Tell
And
about
then
5 to 6.
close about yeah, 5 or 6, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not in a high income area by any means. So I do have lower AP, but that's part of it. That's all right.
But those are good because
Yeah, I'll
your
take it.
renewals will build up by the
Yeah, I'll
end of the
take
year.
it.
I mean, residuals. Yeah.
I'll take it. But the biggest thing, yeah, for new agents, just buy leads and listen. Like listen, I'm telling you, listening to Terrence and those guys get the same BS that we get is that helps. That helps a lot. And just being consistent with it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's so last part, what's
yeah.
the looking forward to this year by end of December 31st?
Hmm.
What's going to be the number one focus for you? What's your main one thing?
With FFL or just overall?
Either way, income, FFL.
Yeah. So income. So yeah, 15K right a month, and then I wanted to turn that into 15K profit each month. 15 families help each month profit. And then yeah, because we got medical bills, baby. We got to pay those things off. So that's my that's my biggest thing. So I would love by the end of the year to just have all that wiped out from doing this job. You know,
Okay.
it's
That's
and
awesome.
yeah, this job, I'm telling you, it's a blessing.
Now, do you have a game
It's a
plan for
blessing.
that?
Yes, yes. It's one, the biggest thing is consistency, right? So staying on course, don't derail. And again, it's just buying 100 leads a week. Wherever they come from, getting 100 leads a week. Again, don't expect anything. That's not necessarily saying I'll make 10 grand a week, but again, it's if I can add 100 new leads a week to my lead bucket, that's going to be a game changer for me. That's going to be a massive game changer for me. So that's my Yeah, so as opposed to focusing so much on the money I'm making, like I said, it's focus on how many leads can I put in that bucket? Who can I talk to? Because I feel, I don't know when you said it, but one thing that resonated with me is closed mouths don't get fed, right? So if I keep calling the same phone numbers that aren't answering, I know they're not going to answer, so you got to put in some new leads, because you can
Right.
keep dialing, but if they're not going to pick up anyway.
Yeah,
You're
you're just
not
wasting
really
your time.
working. Yeah, you ain't really working. So you gotta throw in some new people to talk to. You gotta
Mm.
come on.
So last question. Are you going to be
Yeah,
there in convention?
sure shooting. I'll be there. I'll be there.
Cool. All right,
I'll be
guys.
there.
So we're gonna wrap it up. For anybody have any questions, we're gonna go to the 2 o'clock call. But thanks, Jason.
Yeah,
So
appreciate it.
if you guys haven't register to FFL convention, and then we'll run a 2 o'clock call right now. Cool.